Hello. Thank you for tuning in here. My name is Edward Versluys. Ed to my friends, Brother Ed to people here at church, but just Ed in general. I'm friend to everybody. I'm here to give my testimony, and it's kind of a new thing in a way because there up to about 3 years ago I had absolutely a clue what that was. But anyway, basically this is what happened. Approximately 7 years ago, my son, who's now 13, was 4. I made a decision to go before the altar and ask God to come into my life. I asked Jesus to save me. Now, prior to that, I had absolutely no clue that what it was like to have a relationship with God. I thought that since I was Catholic, I went to church, I had communion, I didn't kill anybody, and that was probably the only sin I hadn't committed. I was cool with God. I was okay. Everything was okay. I wasn't perfect. One day, I could just say I was sorry and everything would be all right, and I could get into heaven. That is the theology I grew up under. Well, after my son was born, I started to have this feeling inside of me, or I'm not really sure what you would call it, but this just inclination, you might say, that things weren't okay, things weren't right. I knew all of a sudden that I wasn't married to his mother at the time, but I knew that things weren't right and that I had to change something because my son was there. He was going to see the things that I had done. He would repeat the things that I had done. And it was like I had this voice going off, this tape recorder going off and says, my son is going to follow my footsteps. You've got to leave a better trail, you might say. So I made that decision because I didn't want to go to hell. And importantly as well, I didn't want my son to go to hell for the same reasons that I might be going. So he had to have a better example. I had to be that leader. I had to be that responsible parent. I had to be the father. I had to be that man that he would follow. So I went before the Lord and I asked the Lord to come into my heart and I asked him to forgive me. And it was not at this church that I'm a part of now, this family I have here at Victory Baptist Church in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But at that point, I was part of another church and a different religion, but I knew it had surety in my salvation, even so. But I asked the Lord to come into my heart, and I had absolutely no idea just how overwhelming that was. Had no clue what that was about, but things have progressed so rapidly, things have changed so quickly in my life that I can't believe that I'm where I'm at. I started out as a mess on an altar in another church. Now I'm a preacher. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I'm a father. And I just have no idea, had no idea that things would turn out this way. I was more than happy to sit back in the back of the church and just listen to the church, listen to the singing, read the Bible every now and again. And help out at church, here and there, but that's not what the Lord wanted me to do. The Lord has brought me to a place. A few years ago, I lost my place. I lost my job because I made a boneheaded decision that took me out of the will of God. And as a result of that decision, I prayed for God to show me the right way, what He wanted me to do, where I could go to learn. Even though I was saved, I was not learning anything. I was in danger of stunting my spiritual growth. As a result of that prayer, though, I lost a home, I lost a job, and I prayed where to go. A knock came on the door where I was staying. I'm staying with a brother. 3 different times, 3 different nights in a row for the same invitation to come to this church. Since then, I've come to this church. I've gone through Bible college. I've become very spiritually mature, and I know more about what the will of God is, what it is to have a relationship with God, than I ever did before. And so I invite you all, if you're not saved, to find out how to do that. Just ask the Lord right now to come into your heart. Ask the Lord to change that. Ask Him to forgive you. He does love you. He does want a relationship with you. If you have a sour relationship with the Lord right now, ask Him to forgive you. Ask Him to put you back on the paths of righteousness. Ask Him to show you what He wants you to do, and be willing to surrender yourselves to that.